Welcome to Echoes from the Valley, our fortnightly podcast about life on our permaculture farm in southeast Queensland. Francine and Talia are pioneering the permaculture methods here in the Lockyer Valley. So, what is permaculture? Taken as a whole, permaculture conditions the land to provide self sufficiency while leaving only the smallest footprint. Echoes in the Valley is a women's initiative, and today we have Francine to tell us what it all means for women. So let's talk about life on the farm as a female. Francine, welcome. For starters, how did you get involved in farming in the first place?
Well, Pete, I grew up with my grandmother I spent quite a few years with her actually in the south of France on her little rural property where she had livestock, which I helped her with and was involved in all aspects of her little property. And basically, that left me with some beautiful memories of living life as a free spirit on the land.
Why do you think women make great farmers?
Well, women are natural nurturers, and in a dwindling farming community, it's very important that they should be embraced, wouldn't you think? And as a part of being good nurturers, they're also very resourceful and good at problem solving. So, with all those good qualities, women do make great farmers from the female perspective.
Do you think women face more problems, the same problems, or less problems when they're working on the land?
I would say they have a lot more problems due to the fact that it's always been a male dominated world, and a lot of women haven't got as much funding as the big corporations or men because they have smaller incomes. So therefore that all impacts, and the knowledge, because you need mechanical knowledge and you need to have skills that you probably wouldn't have been taught as a female. Although I think now things have changed in the schooling system, but still we've been conditioned to just be the nurturers and not so much about the mechanical side or building things and so forth. It can have a bit of a disadvantage for women there.
Hmm. What advice would you give to young women, for example, that might be wanting to start in farming against the odds? What should they specifically look for in order to enable them to get into this kind of lifestyle?
Well, I would give advice to all women, not just young women, and to be proactive. Don't be afraid to give things a go. Be like a dog with a bone and be stubborn and just keep on keeping on. If Be prepared to make mistakes, and because that's how you're going to learn anyway. We've made lots of mistakes here, and we've now learned to just say, well, what did we learn from that? Use your skills and then learn how to improve uh, on those skills, and also you'll be learning to learn new skills because you're always learning something on the property, because you have to be everything. You have to be a veterinarian, a landscaper, a builder, so many things that are involved with farming. It's not just farming, there's a lot of different skills required. uh, get involved with your community and see if you can find like-minded people to get involved with, because you'll need that to share experiences with and gain experiences. And of course, look for ways to find positive outcomes. So if you have a problem and you can't resolve it, just leave it for a while and go and do something that's probably more positive until you can then go back to that problem, because sometimes just trying to fix that problem you can't fix is just going to erode your um, need, your positive thoughts. So just leave it, put in the backdrop, move on to something else, keep going, and eventually that problem will, I guarantee you, will resolve itself. And of course, you've got to give it a go, because you can only be rewarded if you stand and keep trying. That's how everything has succeeded in life.
Hmm. Talking about being rewarded, um, what would you say is the most rewarding aspect of working on the land as a female farmer?
Well, I find it's very rewarding to be a part of the land and to be a part of nurturing the land, uh, seeing the things that I've achieved or we've achieved through our own initiative, uh, again, learning new skills. And of course, as a person that's been told you're a woman, maybe you can't do that. Well, then learning that you can do those things that you thought you couldn't do or were told you couldn't do.
Do you enjoy living on a farm then, as a woman?
Yes, of course I do. That's why I'm here. I've tried the city life and found, as well as being in the suburbs, and found that nothing is better than waking up in the morning to a large space surrounded by the natural calls of the wildlife and adjusting to life cycles, whether they're good or bad. It just is a really rewarding experience.
Would you say life was better on a farm?
Well, for me, definitely. I really enjoy being on a farm, and I love the fresh produce and I love our water. Our water's just, you couldn't buy our water. I mean, it comes from the sky and it's just the best water I've ever drunk. We're totally spoiled between the water and the food that we have and the interactions we have with our extended family of all the animals that we are now in sync with, that we work in with each other and we know each other's routines, and we basically talk to each other these days. They tell us when they want something or if there's something not right, and they understand when we are trying to ask them things like, can you come here please? We've learned to just be in sync with the whole farm that we are now on.
What would you do differently today, knowing what you know now, if you were just starting out for the first time?
Well, I'd probably visit the local community and spend some time there. uh, Maybe make some plans on that property, have a look at the property's levels and grids and climate, and just see what I think I would probably be more interested in than just being a bull at a gate and saying, oh, yeah, this is beautiful, I'm just going here, and then realizing that you need more water or that the neighbors aren't quite the neighbors you thought they were. I would go and visit them, and I would try and learn more about that area before I purchased it. That's what I would do differently.
So, Francine, tell me, are women commonly found in farming?
Well, at the moment, there's 30% of farmers are women worldwide. And, that can be from small productions in their little communities, just feeding themselves and making a couple of extra dollars, or on a larger scale, there's women out there in Australia that are running huge properties on their own, and they're fixing their own vehicles, basically doing everything that a farmer does and doing a good job of it.
What are the advantages then of being a female on the farm?
Well, for me, it's building on my own ideas, creating my own paradise. You build on your stacking. Permaculture principles are about stacking. So you start off with one part of what you're building, and then you add to that, and you just create more things, and then you see how satisfaction that you've grown and created such a beautiful space. And also, it's about proving to those who second guess that women can't do it, and showing that they can.
I bet that does bring a lot of satisfaction. Um, what's next then, do you think, for Echoes in the Valley and maybe for you personally?
Yes, well, we've been dealing with drought for quite a long time now, so we're trying to fix the irrigation that the wildlife has been chewing on to get water from. They now have water to go and drink from because we've had a little bit of rain, and so we need to fix the gardens up through the irrigation and extend the gardens because we need to provide more produce to add to our juice van, because we're going to value add all our produce and use that in our new juice van that we're setting up, as well as building up the soil, because this was a degraded land farmland that was overgrazed. So there's a lot of work in rebuilding the soil so that it contains a lot of moisture and is more self-sustaining for the farm, for the gardens and the farm.
Okay, well, I'm quite interested to cover a little bit more about the juice van. This is a new venture then?
Yes, definitely. We hoping to have it on the road at the end of the month. It's been a long time plan and project, and now it's coming to fruition.
Okay, what kind of recipes do you have for your juices?
Well, we're looking at all the local produce as well as our own produce to make juices from. So some of them will be with aloe vera because we have a lot of that. And yeah, we've got herbs as basil, so we're adding that to the recipes. Basically, using whatever we've got on our property and close so that we have a small carbon footprint when we produce the juices.
Somebody told me actually that you were making juices out of unconventional sources, like, for example, pumpkin and sweet potato, and they said it was delicious, and I didn't believe them. What's your thinking on that kind of produce for a source for a juice?
Well, I'm very proud of those juices because they actually are very yummy. And you'd be surprised at what you can make with what you've got. And that's the whole idea of showing people that you don't have to follow the conventional way. Everything is useful and nice if you just know how to put it together, and it's all good for you.
Do you think that we could help the kids and they don't eat their vegetables? Maybe we could just juice them one and make them drink it. What do you think?
Oh, definitely. That's a great idea, Pete.
Okay, well, thanks, Francine. I think that's it for our first episode. We'll be back in about 2 weeks covering another topic about life on the farm. Um, and we'd like you to tune in. So look for us in about 2 weeks' time. And as we like to say, take only memories and leave only echoes.